Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Qatar 22 by MNG Media. It is your host, Brandon Serta. I welcome you guys back after having very fun episodes 1 and 2 with my two good friends, college player and former college player. Now we're going to move on to what I think is a step closer to what you guys want to hear ultimately. We have our first professional soccer player on the pod coming up, and one of my good friends, former teammate at San Diego State and current MLS and USL League One player down in the East Coast with Charlotte FC and Charlotte Independence. My good friend Koa Santos is going to join us on the pod. He's going to play a little trivia game with us, kind of test his skills on what he knows about the World Cup. We're going to see his favorites. We're going to discuss some of the best players in the tournament coming up next. Alrighty, guys. For episode 3, I have a really special guest for you guys, one of my friends and former teammates, Hawaii born and raised, former teammate of mine at San Diego State, and current player for the newly established franchise in the East Coast, Charlotte FC. Please welcome my friend and professional soccer player, Koa Santos, bro. How are you doing, man?
What's up, Serta? Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Please let the audience know what you're doing right now.
Yeah, just got back from golf and dinner with some of the guys, and yeah, currently in the bathroom.
Wait, you went golfing this morning?
No, this afternoon. Yeah.
Okay.
After training, a bunch of guys went to the golf course, played around, and then we all had dinner together. So yeah.
Yeah, I was watching like the social media, and you guys have like picture day and stuff. How did that go?
That was good. Yeah, it's weird that we did it at the end of the season, but I mean, it is what it is. It makes so many different heads weren't in it that were in the start of the season, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, it was good day.
Wait, did you guys take pictures before, or like once you guys obviously finished preseason, did you guys take pictures upon like opening day, or they just saved it until the very end?
No, yeah. So we did like our media day, obviously, but it wasn't like a proper team photo. We only did that today. So.
Definitely a lot of different faces, but that's definitely interesting how they did it. And the way we're gonna do this podcast, we're gonna obviously introduce to the audience just kind of a little bit of your backstory and kind of a little bit of your career. I don't want to touch as much on it as other podcasts, that have asked you on it, just because you don't want to be answering the same questions and stuff like that. But for the audience's sake, we're going to start off and just like, you're from Hawaii and obviously a little bit far from the East Coast that you're currently at right now, but how was your experience just playing ball? I know you played with Kona Crush Academy and then obviously your high school ball. Just talk a little bit about that and your experiences playing over there at the Big Island.
Yeah. I mean, pretty similar sort of you, I feel like. I mean, we grew up in, obviously it was a smaller town than you, but I grew up in a small town, was a big fish in a small pond, and always knew that I had to, maximize my resources that I had in order to, get off the rock and, compete on the mainland. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to, have a good, basis of people and age group beside me. From that club team, that 99 age group, a bunch of us went D1, and 3 of the guys on that team are currently in the MLS. So yeah, just super fortunate to have people sacrifice so much in order to, get me noticed, get me exposure, and then ultimately just sacrifice financially, because that airplane fare is not cheap.
No, for sure. I've definitely been looking at stuff right now. My brother's currently in Guam, so he's a little bit kind of in his own island. So I know how those extra fees are and stuff like that. Yeah, I know you were talking about like you have currently 3 guys from your class in MLS, 6 players total from your 99 class. When do you guys kind of still keep in touch? And I want to say one went to Sporting KC. I want to say.
Yeah.
And do you guys kind of still keep in touch and like kind of compare what's going on like in the locker rooms and the experiences and training? Like how do you guys still talk about that, or you guys right now aren't in touch as much?
Yeah, no, we still keep in touch. Obviously it's not not as much as before, obviously, but no, we definitely spoken to each other and kind of bantered a little bit about the ins and outs of the MLS and yeah, the crazy stuff that goes on, the crazy experiences. Yeah, I mean, Isak called me and asked how that Chelsea game was playing against Sterling and the likes of those guys. So yeah, we keep in touch a good amount, and I'm sure in the off season when we're all back on the island, we'll get a couple sessions in and yeah, play around the golf, etc.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of cool seeing you. Especially I talked to a lot of the guys that we used to play with, and everybody just kind of keeping up with you and supporting you. Through social media and long distance and stuff like that. And everybody's rooting for you. I want to take it to kind of like your draft moment in terms of the whole
Yeah,
process and everything. You were going to combines, you were training and stuff like that, and unfortunately, it didn't plan out the way you at first anticipated it, but it all worked out at the end. Kind of just talk to us a little bit about that and how the preseason went and how you got the call from Charlotte FC.
yeah, man. It was a crazy ride. I mean, I went to the combine. There was only two right backs there. We both played well. I had meetings with Miami, um, Nashville, and who was the third one? Houston. And Miami basically came out and said that they were gonna take me pretty much. So I got put on like the top prospect, on the live show. Like they had a whole segment for Issa and I. And then I guess like an hour, 30 minutes before the draft, my agent texted me that Yedlin signed for Miami, DeAndre Yedlin, and obviously, great right back, signed a long-term deal there. So then their need for a right back wasn't the same. So ultimately, yeah, I fell through, and what felt like the worst thing ever at the time turned out to be, pretty good thing, I guess. Because as soon as the draft ended, I had a bunch of calls. Houston called, Atlanta called, Nashville called, Charlotte called, and being that Charlotte was an expansion team, my agent and I thought it was the best case scenario in terms of situation. And yeah, hopped on a flight literally a couple hours later, and then was in Charlotte in preseason, and then yeah, smashed the beat test, showed well in the first 2 weeks, and then coach and front office brought me in and threw a contract in my face. So yeah, when things like that happen, I think you got to look at it with perspective. Like, why is this happening? Like, ask yourself, maybe because there's something underlying that you don't see as right now, but later you'll see, and that was like the perfect underlying message that I got. Because in that moment, obviously, it felt terrible, to basically go from top prospect to undrafted, and then yeah, that as soon as the draft ended, I was just kind of so confused, and almost felt like I was lied to, or I don't know. It was odd, but yeah, it all worked out, and sometimes maybe is you gotta look at it as maybe it's the best thing, and then yeah, it ended up working out. So
For sure. Yeah, it definitely kind of took into perspective of how the MLS and the professional game, at the end of the day, it's a business and things can go from left to right in a snap. So, no, it was definitely cool to see how you were able to sign to them. And I know you're kind of been, I've been hearing, you've been going back and forth with them and independence and everything's, you're constantly training and stuff like that. I want to fast forward to that moment where you scored your first professional goal. It was honestly like, I was like, dang, I knew you had a shot on you, but like that was definitely like that. I feel like if anybody were to have a debut goal like that, it would definitely be you, like to have your first professional goal. Kind of how did that moment, what was that moment like for you? And then did it allow you to grow in confidence?
yeah, no, that week in specific I was just, great week of training, and then it followed. I made my debut with FC that week, and then came back next week and got sent down to Independence. Kind of was let down. I was like, damn, I just debuted and now I'm, playing with the second team. Like, this sucks. But whatever, put the chin strap on and went out there and played. And yeah, I mean, fuck, I was like 30, 35 yards out, and I just said screw it, and yeah, hit it, and it knuckled, and yeah, went in. So it was special for sure. I mean, it was just a good week in general. Like, make the debut and then come back and score a goal and get brought back up again the following week. Yeah, it was good. It's been a roller coaster though. They're going the back and forth, and it's definitely hard to gauge. It definitely was hard to gauge at the beginning. I mean, it still is. I guess it was harder to gauge in the beginning, but
for sure,
yeah, no, it was for sure something special. I mean, yeah, not many people can say they scored a pro goal, especially as playing as a defender. Yeah, rookie playing as a defender, yada yada.
Yeah, and I think definitely it's a whole adjustment too from having playing in college as an midfielder and getting more shots, whereas now you're playing as an outside back and maybe not getting as much production forward as you're accustomed to. But it's all adjustment. It's all for the sake of the team. Okay, now definitely I know you touched on a little bit. I know that your friend Isai kind of like bantered a little bit with you whenever he asked about with Chelsea, right? So right now, we talked a little bit about your MLS debut and how, obviously you went there and then kind of thrown back and forth with Independence. I want to start talking a little bit transitioning from, with everything that's going on at the MLS and start talking about a little bit of what's coming up in November 20th when the World Cup begins. And I want to start off by asking you, who is your favorite leading up to the tournament?
Favorite going in? Dude, I like Brazil, man. I think they've always had like a crazy team on paper, and I think they're finally going to put it together this year. Firmino's starting to show some promise. Neymar's heating up again. They got Fabinho. Yeah, dude, they're going to be good, I think. Their backline's always been good, despite when Germany slaughtered them. But, nah. Yeah, dude, I'm going Brazil, I think. Yeah. Brazil, I'd say second. Yeah, second, I'd say Portugal, obviously. I'm Portuguese. I like Portugal. Ronaldo's kind of last big hurrah. He's been sitting on the bench at Man U. And just their depth is crazy if you look at it on paper.
Yeah, we talked about it on I want to say on episode 1, or like I recorded like 2 versions of my episode 1, and the first one we were talking about with my friend Meta and how right now they have like Joao Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, Bernardo Silva, Joao Felix, all these guys that can help carry the load a little bit for Ronaldo and stuff like that. So Brazil and Portugal, man, those are 2 great teams. They're both, I would say Portugal's in the harder group. With Brazil, obviously, Brazil playing familiar opponents in previous World Cups. Definitely Brazil, I would say, has the better chance of going far. I know, you like I said, Isai was kind of bantering you with the whole Charlotte FC playing Chelsea in that game. Oh, bro, what was that moment like? Because whenever I saw it on social media, and I know that they were beating you guys 1-0, right? Christian Pulisic had that goal, whatever. They were celebrating like it was going to be an easy game. And then all of a sudden, you guys make some subs, you guys put a little bit of pressure, and you get a last-minute goal to force penalties. What was the feeling like knowing that the crowd was behind you guys and you guys had a feeling like, wait, maybe we can pull this off?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's hard to put into words, to be honest. I mean, that's like, I don't know, my childhood dream. Everyone who I grew up with, childhood dream, to play against guys of that, standard. And I don't know, I mean, kind of, I was surprised. I mean, like, it sounds crazy, but there's not much difference, I think they just do the right things and have the best traits, and they do it constantly, correctly. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's football, it's a crazy game.
Yeah, I always hear that they do the little things right. That they're always doing, like, they just practice like simple stuff, and they're just so efficient at them. And that's the crazy part with Chelsea. They have literally like star players in almost like so many teams in the World Cup. Whereas Edouard Mendy is going to play with Senegal, Havertz with Germany, Sterling with England. you have Reece James with England as well. What was one player, because I know you obviously didn't start that game until you came on later on, like watching that game at first, what player kind of stood out to you that made you be like, dang, like they're better in person than they are on the TV screen? Like you were actually like amazed. Like, which player would you say made you feel that way?
I'd say there was two guys. One who cause I didn't really rate him when I watched him on TV is Jorginho. He was just like seeing passes that like no one saw, and just so smooth, so technical. And then Reece James, we watch a lot because he plays my position. But I mean, the guy is whatever 6'1", explosive and quick as can be, and then also like put together like a technically sound game, you know. So that was just like he just checked all the boxes, and then
he's very strong.
Just was up and down the line, just an absolute engine. So I mean, they were both impressive, but yeah, I'd say Jorginho was probably the most impressive guy. He was seeing shit that no one out there.
That's crazy. He's not even playing in the World Cup too. Like he's gonna be watching, and it just puts the perspective how competitive the professional game is. And then obviously he won the Euros, but
no, exactly.
Wasn't able to qualify, losing.
Yeah, I mean that.
I think they need to fix that. They need to fix that. But at the end of the day, they need to beat North Macedonia in order to advance. And there's no you can't really make an excuse for that.
Absolutely.
But so you said Jorginho kind of reminds me of Pablo a little bit. Kind of slows the games down.
Yeah.
Whenever we played at San Diego, like he just slows the game down, kind of sees stuff a normal center mid wouldn't be able to see, and just kind of like is very reliant pivot. So no, that's actually definitely an interesting answer. I was more expecting you to say like definitely like Mason Mount or Havertz or someone, in the top.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they were all top. They were all good.
For sure.
Know? But, just the guys who I guess it stood out to me because I didn't rate him that well, and a lot of world football did. And then when I, play against him and see him live, you're like, oh, wow, like, he just split me on the inside shoulder when he was looking clearly the other way,
Yeah. Absolutely. And then we're going to move toward the end of that game. So you guys tied it up, I want to say like 93rd minute or like just like at the end of the game. And you guys forced penalties. How buzzing was the stadium? And then you guys ended up beating them. Then you got Ben Chilwell's shirt. How was just like that whole last 20-minute sequence before you headed back to the locker room?
Yeah, dude. So obviously at the end of the extra time, it was international friendly, so we didn't think we were going to penalties. So Ben and I were talking, and he actually gave me a compliment on my quads. It was pretty funny. I was like, the heck? Kind of weird, but he goes, "You're in the gym a lot, huh, kid?" All right, yeah, I'm in the gym.
Like you do your cardio, eh? You do your squats,
yeah. But
that is so funny.
Yeah, so we were bantering a little bit, and then obviously at the end I was like, "Oh, like let me get your shirt after." He's like, "Oh yeah, for sure, bud." And so we end up final whistle blows. We end up taking our shirt off. We think it's a 1-1 draw, and the referee's like, "Oh no, we're going to penalties." And so we put back on our shirts. We're like, "The hell!" And he ends up taking a pen. He takes it third, I think, and bangs it off the post. Goes another way, and I look at him again. I'm like, "Oh, you thought you missed, huh?" And he just laughs. And then I was actually in the second five, so I was seventh to shoot, and it came down to the fifth guy. I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm taking one tonight. Like this is gonna go the distance." Made up my mind. I was gonna open my hips and go to the left of Mendy.
Bro, he's so tall.
Yeah, that guy's huge, bro. I was. Yeah, he covers so much of the goal, bro. I was thinking about going down the center. I'm like, nah, no way, because Rio's Panenka his ass. So I was like, all right, he might stay home. So yeah, it was crazy, bro. I mean, the fans were loud as can be, and yeah, it was electric, man. It was definitely one of the most fulfilled I felt, in a while. Like all your hard work, it's like all the fruition of your hard work, And Kev was in the crowd, like he came that weekend, so he was like absolutely buzzing for me.
I was gonna ask you about that because I know he's a huge rival or fan of the rivals from Chelsea. You guys are huge fans of Arsenal, So I know he was so happy that you guys got that win and to do it. And I believe he's from Charlotte. How funny was he after the game? Was he bantering and then did he ask for the shirt or was he?
Nah, yeah, dude. He came down. I got him field access and he came down and it was all full circle. We talked about one of us or both of us going playing beyond San Diego State, and to do it at this measure is crazy. And we almost cried when we made eye contact on the field and he came out and gave me a huge hug and yeah, took a bunch of photos. It was a good memory, man. It was definitely the highlight of this year as a rookie. There's been a lot of tough times.
Absolutely, definitely. With I know you guys were roommates at San Diego. You guys pretty much were each other's first friend when you got to University Tower. So all those little struggles, all those little extra workouts, early morning workouts, late night, whatever, it all kind of came full circle, and it was probably just such a beautiful moment. I know he had his girl there, and you guys play at the same stadium as the Panthers and stuff like that. So that's super cool, and really happy that you had that moment, man. And definitely, I'm sure you're gonna keep an extra eye out for those players come in November time for the World Cup.
Yeah, I know it'd be cool to say you played against them come World Cup time, and even on our team, Karol Swiderski, he's going to the World Cup and scored a goal for Poland 2 weeks ago during the international break, assist from Lewandowski. It's pretty crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm going to shift over the conversation to a little segment created for you just to kind of test out your knowledge of the World Cup. It's going to have a little bit of questions from the history, a couple questions for the World Cup in November. It's going to be a little mix of everything, just kind of test how updated you are on World Cup. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first question. There's going to be a total of 9 questions, and the 10th is a bonus question I'm going to throw in just for freebies. I don't want you to leave here with a 0.
Oh, good.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to call this the Koa quiz. We're going to go question number 1. So who is the all-time goal scorer in World Cup history? We got A, Messi, B, Miroslav Klose, 3, R9, 4, Thierry Henry.
I'm going to say Klose.
That is correct. Miroslav Klose is number 1 right now, and he's been banging in goals left and right. I feel like he's one of the most underrated strikers just because he's not talked about enough, and yet he has performed at the highest stage.
Yeah, no, he's not. Yeah, good player for sure.
For sure. You got that one correct. Moving on to question 2. What is the U.S. men's national team best World Cup finish? So they obviously weren't in the World Cup last World Cup in Russia. What was their best ever finish?
I'm going to say
we're going to go
semifinals.
You sure about that? We're going to go A, semis.
No, give me the
B, quarterfinals. C, round of 16. And D, the final.
Semifinal.
That is incorrect. The furthest they've made it is the quarterfinals in 1930, which was the inaugural World Cup.
Damn it.
So that is the furthest they've ever made it. That is actually kind of crazy because, I feel like, we're in a country that hasn't been to a World Cup semifinal or final, but hopefully in the upcoming World Cup or in 2026 when they come here, they're able to fix that.
Yeah.
So you got 1 out of 2 so far. We're going to move on to question 3. Only one host nation has ever been eliminated in the group stage. Can you name the country? A, Italy, B, United States, C, South Africa, D, Russia.
Was South Africa eliminated? Were they? Dude, I don't know. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go South Africa.
South Africa is correct. They were eliminated in 2010.
Yeah, that was the best World Cup.
I remember.
Shabalala, baby.
Dude, that was Shabalala up at 90. Dude, that was an insane game. I think that was definitely peak World Cup whenever Spain won it. And, you had Shakira singing her heart out with those songs. You're doing good so far, bro. You're 2 out of 3. The second question was pretty hard, but now we're going to move into question 4, which is a true or false. The FIFA World Cup in Qatar, this is my professor making me say Qatar, in Qatar, will sell alcoholic beverages. I'm going to repeat myself. True or false? The Qatar World Cup will sell alcoholic beverages. True or false?
I mean, the obvious answer is true, but I hope they sell booze. Like what?
Lock in your final answer?
I'm going to go true. I mean, you can't watch football without booze. True.
The final answer is true on your end, but it is false.
Damn, that's sad.
So basically, Qatar has a lot of very strict rules. So like, I know Harry Kane is like protesting, like he's trying to wear an armband, his captain armband with like to promote equality and like the LGBT community. They're very strict over there with that. And also public intoxication. They're not really, their culture doesn't really promote that. So from what I hear and from what the research that I've done, they're going to be selling booze like before the games, but during the games it's a no-go in the stadiums. They're 2 for 2 so far. So yeah, no alcohol during the World Cup. Question number 5. Who is the United States men's national team's all-time top scorer at the World Cup? We have A, Clint Dempsey, B, Landon Donovan, B, McBride, and D, Eric Winalda.
I'm going to say Donovan, maybe. Donovan.
That is correct. Landon Donovan is the men's top scorer at the World Cup. What a legend. The original number 10. Hopefully Christian Pulisic can kind of follow in those strides and really take a leap in the World Cup. Maybe gain some confidence. I know he hasn't been doing as well as he hopes, but I know he got that goal last week and, trying to move forward into the World Cup, get some form. So we're going to move forward to question 6. So far, you're 3 out of 5. Not bad at all. Question number 6. What nation was the first ever FIFA World Cup played at? We're going to go A, Uruguay, B, Bolivia, C, Chile, or D, Paraguay.
I'm going to go Uruguay.
That is correct. 1930, the original and inaugural World Cup, where the United States finished their highest ever in the quarterfinals. So yeah, that is correct. It is Uruguay. Well, doing well. We're going to go question 7. Who won the Golden Glove in Russia 2018? This is an open-ended question.
Open-ended question.
Like, I didn't put an A, B, C, or D.
It was either Courtois or Neuer, bro. Germany was bad. I'm going to go Courtois.
Courtois is correct. I'm so glad you didn't say Germany because they did get bounced.
Yeah, they got smoked.
So glad they got bounced. Yeah. I'm going to move on to question 8. What continent is Qatar in?
Dude, I'm so bad at geography. I'm not even going to answer.
Do you want me to give you a multiple choice?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you 3. Trying to make it a little bit easier. Go. I'll give you 4. I'll go A, North America, B, Europe, C, Asia, and D, South America.
Okay, that made it easy. It's for sure Asia. Asia's huge, bro.
It is Asia. I was going to say Middle East, but I didn't want to want to do you like that.
Yeah, I probably would have said that.
All right.
Yeah, no,
and then we're gonna
geography's not the hottest topic, bro, for the island boy.
It's honestly, when I saw that, I was like, wait, it's in Asia? I thought it was like the Middle East, but yeah, it's in Asia. We're going to move on to question number 9. And it is a question about Qatar 22. How many stadiums will be there in Qatar? How many stadiums are going to be in Qatar for the World Cup games? We're going to go A, 7, B, 8, C, 9, D, 12.
I'm gonna go 8.
That is correct. There are 8 stadiums. I know it's pretty much simple math, really. They kind of send a group to each stadium,
Yeah.
and right? So,
Exactly.
And all the stadiums are within, like, let's say, like for Dallas, it's the best example. Let's say Qatar is the size of DFW, so all stadiums are going to be within each other. Hotels are going to be buzzing. It's going to be so packed. So that's really interesting how they're going to do that. But there are 8 stadiums. So far, you've gotten the majority of questions right. You've only really missed the alcohol one, and also the United States best finish. So we're going to move on to the bonus. This is the freebie, but it's more for the fans and the audience. Finish this quote. My favorite World Cup moment of all time is blank.
Dude, that's a tough one. There's so many good ones.
You can go back to whatever memory like kind of made you feel like it was peak football. Maybe you were with your best friends and you were celebrating together. Just something that made you fall in love with the game even more. It could be a foul. It could be a goal. It could be.
Dude, it's got to be like U.S. Ghana probably, or the final of 2010. I think 2010 was the best World Cup for me, just because I was, how old was that? I was like 10. That was just opened up everything, for me in terms of soccer, and
No,
it
for
was,
sure.
that was just the best overall World Cup in my opinion, in terms of passion, goals. They had the Javelani balls. Thiago Forlan was banging goals, knuckling like crazy. Shakira.
I need to meet the scientist behind that Jabulani ball, because that ball was knuckling like it made everybody look like Ronaldo. But no.
Yeah, U12, you can shoot from half and that thing would go in, just knuckle past the keeper.
That's an iconic memory, and I think the 2010 World Cup, I feel bad for kids who weren't born yet and didn't get to witness that, because that was honestly, I believe it was peak football. It was whenever my club, FC Barcelona, was the best. Right now we're struggling to qualify to the knockout stages of the Champions League. But Koa, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We got to kind of listen a little bit about your story and how you made it from the Big Island all the way to the East Coast in Charlotte FC and Charlotte Independence. We got to kind of learn a little bit of your stories, playing Chelsea and scoring your first goals and stuff like that. And lastly, we got to kind of quiz you a little bit on the World Cup, and you did great, man. You got an 80%, 8 out of 10 on the quiz, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Serta. All the best to you, and hopefully more success to come, man.
No, definitely, man. I'm wishing you the best too in your journey, man. We're looking to keep up with you and your updates and your career, and we wish you the best, and everybody here at MNG Media, bro. And then hopefully we could do this again sometime down the road, man. It was
for sure. Have a good one.
You too, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 3, featuring my friend, former teammate, and professional at Charlotte FC and Charlotte Independence. Make sure to continue liking, commenting, and subscribing for more content. Share with your friends, share with your parents, share with your girlfriend, do whatever you got to do. Let's blow this thing up. Guys, it is your host, Brandon Serta, and we'll see you next time.